Chaminade.
People are afraid of me, man. They hear that Chaminade, man. They don't know what to do. Even though it's a joke, it's fucking ferocious.
Stephen, what happened? No music playing us in or nothing?
There you go. Wait, how about now? Wait, I got to get a little music on this.
All right. Get in the mood, Small.
Three Guys, Many Games, Summer Edition. We're back. I know we've been away. I know people have been missing us, but we might have a very special episode for you today. I'm Steve Sombrato, your host. I'm with Vinny Sombrato, my big brother, and the great Rob Smalley, Mr. Chaminade. How we doing today, guys?
All good, all good. We're looking forward to our guest today.
So now, before I butcher his name is Trevor Baptiste. Trevor.
Yeah.
So Trevor Baptiste, like you're gonna baptize, right? Baptiste, Bap. All right, nice name.
Yeah, there you go.
I got a nice thing to say about Trevor.
Okay, go ahead.
Before I got on, I got a phone call from Brandon Oppenheimer. All three kids are face-off guys, you know, and they had questions for Trevor. I thought it was really nice. They go, "Holy cow, you're on with Trevor?" I said, "Yes, I get everybody." They go, "No, he ain't just everybody." He goes, "He might be the best in the game today." This is what Brandon was saying.
Not the best in the game today, maybe the best all time.
What, Vinny?
I said, you're saying the best in the game today. He's probably the best all time.
That's an interesting point.
I know. Well, Smalls knows all these guys. He knows a lot of face-off men. He got his man Schomburg on there. He had Joe Cowboy. You know, he knows a lot of. He knows a lot.
If I was taught by Trevor, say I'm training with Trevor, right? And the athlete that you guys know I am, right? In basketball and the schoolyard kid, even though I didn't have any of the real stuff. I think, you know, with the right training, the right attitude and everything, I'd say this guy could have made me one of the best face-off guys around.
He's going to call himself as one of the best
if you do it right,
guys
though.
of all time.
What?
Yeah.
You're calling yourself as one of the best face-off guys of all time.
I'm not. I'm saying
he's nice to Trevor. He's got enough accolades. Maybe he'll throw you a trophy or a medal or something. He's got a zillion of them.
Maybe he train with the people that are.
Ask him when he comes on. If maybe he'll give you. What are you talking about? You're 97 years old. You're still talking about if he would have trained you and everything else. It's over, Johnny. You're finished.
Hold on. Listen, I'm saying, Vin.
One of the things we have to talk about, since things you can compete at, Smalley, you're in third place in the picks. Right now, we're through week 7. I'm 19-9. Vinny's 17-11. Smalley's 10-18. 7 games back. And the fans who are the champs from the college season are way down in last place.
This is unusual for the fans. They're usually right at the top. They usually got it going on. But this has been a crazy season in the PLL. And, you know, obviously, when we look with the spreads, they're always 1.5 most of the time. So it's tough. Oh, here comes
the agent. The agent is in.
What?
We've got the agent.
They're working, boys.
That's it. Yeah. How you doing, Peter? Welcome to the show. We got Peter Schaefer, agent extraordinaire of many a professional athlete. Who was your best pickup, Peter?
Well, I've been fortunate enough, Stephen, to represent 5 guys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I've got, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Barry Sanders.
I think so.
Yeah. Jerome Bettis, Willie Rowe, Joe Thomas, and then Steve Atwater, too. So I've got represented 5 guys who are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Some other guys.
But you got me on the sailing shoe, and that tops all of it.
Well, I'm trying to get you into the Lake Placid Hall of Fame.
All right, that sounds good. That's good.
Well, he is part of the team that they put in the Long Island.
I was part of that 20, and I was on the silver 25th anniversary team too. There
you go. Yeah. Are you in the Long Island Hall of Fame yet? I know Vinny is.
Yeah, I'm in that.
It's fun. It's funny. Trevor is coming here in a second. We're at the place called the Lax Den
Okay.
that Jack Hanna of the Water Dog owns, and it's like this
Uh-huh.
indoor shooting center here in Denver. So Trevor's going to be here in a second because he shoots with my son every
Okay.
day, and on the Friday night of the PLL games here in Denver next week, Trevor and I are going in the Colorado Lacrosse Hall of Fame together.
Wow.
Congratulations.
So how did the relationship?
Congratulations.
How did the
That's good.
relationship?
So, shoot, I think we were at a football game, maybe a Bronco game. We are all on the sidelines, and someone introduced me to him, or him introduced him to me his senior year in college. So he was at Denver, one of the four-time first-team All-Americans. So I don't know, Smile, who are the other 14 first-team All-Americans? I mean, it's a pretty prestigious and
You can
great
count
club.
on one hand. Yep.
That's right. That's right. But think about that, Fort Vinny. I mean, as great as you were, four-time first-team All-American is an
Oh, it's
incredible honor.
crazy. I mean, you got Del Dressel, you got Mikey Powell, you got Trevor, of course. He's the latest to do it. You got an old timer from Hopkins who did it. I think
Right.
some of those guys. It's hard because some of them they didn't play varsity as freshmen. And who am I missing, Steven? There's
I
somebody
don't know.
else.
I can't remember anybody else besides I was going to say Powell, Dressel, Trevor.
Was it Eamon maybe?
No,
No, he
they didn't
couldn't
get to
play
play as a
varsity
freshman.
as a who, Steven?
Eamon, he couldn't play as a freshman, so he
Right.
couldn't be 4-time. But he was probably 3-time though.
But to be
Yeah,
yeah,
no, he definitely was 3 times.
And Del Dressel he was a wonderful player too. But it's all that's what's so great. And so Trevor and I sort of struck it up. He became the first pick in the draft that year for the MLL with the Boston Cannons. And through that relationship and what we've done now, pretty much every one of the top PLL players is coming through Denver here at some point. With the
Nice,
Kavanaughs and Jared Bernhard and Jack
nice,
Hanna, Michael Sowers, all those guys.
nice.
And
Very good.
and my goal is just to try to make the PLL a truly professional sport and allow these guys to be full-time professionals. That's how it's really going to meet its apex and its pinnacle, is if these guys are training every day like the NFL players do and the NBA players, because that's why you're going to see great players. The guys that have to work 8 to 5 like we did when we played pro, Vinny, is a
That's
little
right.
different.
Yeah, a lot different.
I
So
mean,
let me ask you, Peter, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Cortland, SUNY Cortland. I was actually the ball boy for Tierney and that '72 team that went to the Final Four.
Holy cow! Wow, you see the lacrosse overlays are so crazy, right? And then he ends up Baptiste coach, and now you're representing Baptiste.
Right, and so right, so our parents taught at Cortland State, so I was a ball boy. Kevin Martin and Mike Martin. They went to Hobart. We were all the ball boys.
Wow.
And back then, you got to tell these young people. Back then, ball boys, we were really ball boys.
You took your life in your hands.
Right, we were standing behind the goal during the game with no helmets, and they
Right.
might only had two or three game balls, and they would actually wait for us to run, chase them down in the field so they could play the game again if we didn't get hit in the head with it.
So you
well,
were up there with
MLC.
it.
Wait, Peter. MLC. They had ball boys. They used to have 5 assists in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Long Island, we'd shoot the ball out of bounds. It would take 45 minutes to find a ball. MLC shoots a ball wide. The guy triggers it in practically to the guy on the crease.
Instantaneous.
right. Well, they had smarter ball boys than us guys from Cortland. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
So you were up there when Jimmy Burke was there and guys like that.
Oh yeah, Jack Emmer was the head coach. Jimmy
Jack
Burke was up
Yama.
there. Paul Wareham was up there too. The great coach from
Sure.
Herkimer. Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
were all on that team, and they taught us how to play. Our first plastic sticks were sticks that they broke, and they would put duct tape on them and give them to us.
Wow.
And that's how we started playing and I played in college, and then one year in that old ALL league. And so even though I've been fortunate enough to be very successful as a sports agent, I really feel that I want to give back to the sport of lacrosse and help grow it. That's just like you guys with this podcast. You guys do such a fantastic job. The more that we can encourage kids to play the game, grow the sport, like having Trevor is just a great ambassador, and he'll be here. He should be pulling up in a second. But being a great ambassador getting kids in Chicago and Milwaukee and Seattle to play the game. We already have enough guys on Long Island. You got to stop breeding over there. We have too many people from Long
Yeah.
Island to begin with.
Yeah. No, he.
You ended up on Long Island coaching at Adelphi, right?
Yep. So when I was in law school after college, uh, again, small world, my dad had coached at Adelphi, and he was Paul Doherty's soccer coach when he was at
Doc.
Adelphi.
Yeah, Doc.
Yeah, Doc Doherty. And so I called Doc, and he said I could be a GA. And so I was a GA the first year, and the next 2 years I was actually an assistant coach. And 85, 86, 87. That's when Adelphi was rolling D1. We went to the final eight 2 of those 3 years.
Smalls, he might have coached Tash. I don't know. Did you coach Tashman?
Oh yeah, Coach Frankie. Oh yeah,
He shakes his head. Smalley shakes his head. Todd Lawson was on the Todd Lawson.
I never liked that guy.
Todd Lawson.
I never liked Tashman. Stole my girlfriend in college. What are you talking about?
Gary. No, they had some beautiful guys. What's his name? The goalie's brother.
Danny Capitos.
Ocasio's brother was on the team. Gary Blum.
Joey, yeah, Joey. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this. This is not politically correct, but we were coaching in the fall, and Tash and a couple of the other seniors didn't show up to fall ball, and it was when the Mets were playing Houston Astros in the NLCS, right? And it's an afternoon game, so Doc asks me to find out where the seniors were. So the next day, I was like, Tash, what happened? He goes, well, Coach, we wanted to go to the Mets game, so we stole 2 wheelchairs from the infirmary. We put 2 of the guys in the wheelchair. We tipped like the ushers $5, and then we went down the first baseline and we sat with the caps. I'm like, I'm a little green behind the ears from Cortland. I'm like, caps? What are you guys talking about? He goes, yeah, the handicaps.
God.
And they wheeled themselves in, and I guess Long Island, their way right up to the freaking set in the first row of the NLCS. And
that's
great.
Frank. Where'd you go to law school, Peter?
I went to Brooklyn Law School in the city.
Nice.
And I would take the train out Long Island Railroad to Nassau Boulevard.
City, yeah, Nassau Boulevard, Garden City, right there, and you can walk down the street. Yeah.
Walk down the street, and then that's how we recruited Gordon Purdy. And so
he saw Gordon during the '86 World Games up in Toronto. I think is when Doc saw him.
Right, and we saw him. Doc says you got to watch this guy, so we watch him, and then we convinced Gordon that Adelphi was the Harvard of Long Island.
As we call Hofstra, the Harvard of Hempstead Turnpike.
Right, so we got him there, and then when we were coaching Hofstra, Danowski might have been at Post at that.
Yeah, he was still at Post, I think. Yeah,
I think got it Post.
Or he was just transitioning.
He was just starting.
He was just moving over to Hofstra.
Harry Royal coached to about I think 83 or something maybe, and then I think Dino came in maybe 84, like that, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and Gordy wasn't until later in the 80s.
Yeah,
Gordy was 87. And I'm just telling you though, but Doc Doherty, he ran a great program. We played everybody. We played Syracuse and Maryland and Loyola and Rutgers. And then of course it was the big wars with Post and Hofstra.
Yeah.
And we used to play on that turf at Hofstra. Stephen, you and Vinny know that was just the worst possible turf. Vinny, explain to people what that turf was like. It was worse than Veterans Stadium.
I liked it, actually. I liked it.
Well, you came on a little bit later. I'll give you the history. How it was told to me was the Hofstra turf, the first one they put down at Hofstra, was the second AstroTurf installed in the whole country. One was the Houston Astrodome, and the second was that turf at Hofstra. And they left that turf down for I don't know how many years. And on the sidelines, we used to call it Pebble Beach. As you came off the field, there was pebbles. Like guys would get knocked off the field into the pebbles. You'd land in all the pebbles for the drainage. But the field was so crowned, if you were on one side for a face-off and you looked across to see the guy across, you barely could see the guy on the other, on the other side. Right. Because the field was so crowned. And when you ran on it, it sounded like you were running on a boardwalk. There must have been plywood under there or something. When you played on that, So there was no cushioning really at all. It was crazy.
Zero.
But when it rained and you shot, even I had a hard shot off of that. When you shot off of that, when it was wet, that ball skipped off. It like picked up like 10, 15 miles per hour,
And
And
then when
then
you
they
would,
finally replaced it.
but then you would come off it. So I played for North Hempstead. So we play you guys on that place on a Sunday.
Right.
And North Hempstead, you want to talk about a bunch of freaking legendary legends,
Yeah,
with
you had a
the,
lot of players there too.
oh my God, with the Cook brothers
Right. Brendan Schneck.
and well, Lance Schneck and Brendan Schneck.
Right.
So what I would do is, because I was in the city, I would take the subway up to Cookie, who was a firefighter in the Bronx.
Bobby, yeah, yeah.
To Bobby Cook, he was a firefighter in the Bronx. I'd have breakfast at the fire station, and then we would drive to the games. And so
That's
together, and then you'd pull in behind the Schneck brothers, and they would get out like it was a Cheech and Chong car.
great.
And then Brendan would run around the field like a gazelle, the greatest athlete of all time.
He
And
was
then they
great.
get back in the car. Yeah, oh yeah. But I remember we played that field, and whenever you fell, you get these huge burns on your arms and your
Yeah, forget
and
it.
you had to, and they would spray him, and the spray was so painful.
Forget it. That was worse than the original burn. Yeah,
Right.
that
Oh
was
yeah.
that was rough. That field, that was like sandpaper, literally sandpaper. When you fell, definitely your skin was coming off you.
That's right. It looks like Trevor's walking in right now. You guys are going to ask him a bunch of great questions, but I'll tell you some, I'll give a little introduction. Everybody knows what a great player he is. I'm just talking probably the greatest ambassador right now that we have in the game. He never turns an autograph down. He's always positive, upbeat, loves the sport. The fact that he will come here and shoot with my son, who's a junior at Mount St.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it every day. He just loves the game, and they'll sit there and they'll work hard for an hour, and then they'll play, any kind of game for the next hour. You can't get him out of here.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. The guy's like a cyborg.
Schaefer, how do you spell your name?
SCHAFF.
It's the beer, because my Uncle Charlie did the Schaefer commercial many years ago. I got a picture of him back in the 40s. Schaefer, can you sing for me, Vinny? Have the one beer.
You brought it up.
No.
I didn't want to interrupt, but because these guys yell at me, don't talk till you're talking to small. But I like your shtick, though. I like the way you sound. You got a good vibe on you.
No, I tell you. So with the Schaefer beer commercial, they had the one where it says "Rookie, get up on the barrel."
Yeah.
Right. And so that was our. And you're not allowed to say anymore. That was our hazing. We were at all the club tournaments. All the first year guys had to sing the Schaefer jingle at the party that first night.
Right.
Man, it's amazing commercials.
Rookie, get up on the barrel, and we still make them do it today.
Oh my God!
The elder statesmen in Vail, when you come play for them, first night you got to sing the Schaefer jingle.
They probably have cans of Schaefer. Those guys, I saw the equipment those guys were wearing. They were wearing equipment that was from the freaking 60s and 70s. Those guys.
Hey,
Stop
Schaefer,
it.
I got a question for Schaefer.
He had the old school gloves on. We were laughing. We were saying he was wearing 2 oven mitts.
Hey, Dennis.
What's up? What's up, big guy?
I'm on the phone with this famous guy, Trevor Baptiste. If you have any questions, text me.
Look at this, Smalley. Look at this,
He's
Smalley.
on me, Trevor Baptiste.
Are you kidding me, Smalley?
What's
Just
his
text
name?
me some questions. What? Sorry, I couldn't. My hands were dirty from the Haagen-Dazs. My wife screwed up. She bought me the wrong Haagen-Dazs ice cream, and whatever, that's another story. But that's Goldstein. I said, if you have any questions, make me look good here. So Vinny and Steven treat me next week to dinner. I got to look good without messing up. So
Which Goldstein, though?
this one was Dennis.
Well, he was a hell of a player, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so last year I took Steven, and Steven explained we took him to Giants training camp.
Yeah, that was a great experience. So that was after Placid. We go and we take a ride over because Leland Rogers' son, who's also a client of yours, correct?
Right, that's right.
And he was trying out for the team at that point. What a facility, what a great experience that was. That just seeing how they how they worked them out. Fantastic.
We did it one time.
And he ended up on the roster
Yeah,
by
we'll
the
make
end of
it
the
easy
year.
for you.
Although he was on the practice squad first, he then transitioned to the roster. And now is he in camp with the Buffalo Bills?
Yes, he's with the Bills. Yep.
Okay.
Wow, that's an
That's
Yep.
opportunity.
And then so we got Steven come in. Steven had lunch in the Giants, the players'
Oh,
cafeteria.
you're the
with
guy?
kitchen.
This is the guy?
Yeah,
You sound like a regular guy.
he's a regular guy.
Well, I
And
mean,
plus, let me tell you one funny story about that. So I go to meet Schaefer and Leland Rogers at the Giants thing. As I'm walking up, who's there? Big Daddy. I'm like,
Big Daddy.
what's Big Daddy doing
Big
here?
Daddy is-
Does that guy end up everywhere, Big Daddy?
Big Daddy's everywhere.
We see Big Daddy everywhere. The Pro Bowl,
oh my God.
Combine.
Daddy's
Oh my God.
omnipresent. He's
And he had like a video crew following him around. I'm like, Big Daddy's doing videos at the Giants training camp. It was
Hey,
unbelievable.
Schaefer, I got a question for Schaefer, direct question. I enjoy your positivity. I didn't realize like you're famous, but you're also down to earth regular guy. Where do you get that from? Your father?
We grew up in Cortland. You had no choice. Your parents would whoop your ass if you had anything.
That's
like
cool. I like that.
This
That's
guy
nice.
grew up tipping cows. What are you talking about? He was
Right.
tipping
Oh, that's
cows
great.
up in Cortland.
I tell people this story all the time. When I turned 16, my grandma was so excited that I got a driver's license, so I could drive up to as she said, could you drive up to the res and buy me a carton of smokes? I tell you, that's all.
My mother smoked Lucky Strike. My mother smoked Carlton. My
Right, my
father
grandma-
lived 85. My mom still alive, 92 now. Still driving to Atlantic City. Oh,
So
crazy.
Trevor just walked in. He's on the phone, but he'll be right with us.
Okay.
So we would drive up to the res there, the Onondaga Reservation, which was like 15 minutes from the house. You get a carton of smokes for $5.
That's the greatest. I love it. Get me a carton.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they used to smoke like endless. My father smoked Lucky Strike, lived 85. He went to Chaminade. That's why I never went there because I couldn't get in anywhere. I never read a book, but I'm known as Mr. Chaminade. I took this thing on for Vinny and stuff.
He's known as Mr. Chaminade. He coined
Let's
himself.
put it this way: self-proclaimed Mr. Shaman.
Self-proclaimed.
Well, no, that's great though. These podcasts that you guys do and that I'm fortunate enough to go on, just shows you what we're trying to instill in the youngsters that are playing the game now. The fact that 30, 40 years after you're in college, you still love the game. We're still trying to grow the game. You play like Steven. He could. Steven's one of those guys that can help any team. Doesn't matter if he's 20-year-old up, 30-year-old up, and that's what you want to try to instill in these youngsters. Just the love of the game.
Well, it does. It is the medicine game.
Look.
There he is. There he
is.
is. TB is in the house.
Wait, I
TB
gotta
is
figure
in the house.
I got to figure a way to take it.
Wow.
We lost.
I got questions for Trevor.
We demuted him. Okay. He's got him. He's on mute. He's unmuted. He somehow muted him.
Hello?
And now he's good.
Here we
There he
go.
is.
Hey,
Hey, Trevor.
Welcome.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
Wow, this is great. Great to have you. This is an honor to get the goat out there. We got the goat. So
Yeah.
my man Rob Smalley
I appreciate it.
he was trying to figure this out. He was saying, all these great face-off guys. He says he might be the best guy facing off today. And we were saying, best guy facing off today. He's listen, you got 3 old dogs here, and we've been around the game for a very, very long time. I'm going to be the first one to say it. I don't know if I have never seen anybody do it the way you do it.
I appreciate that.
It's certainly in the realm of that. You can't say who's the best without bringing your name up in that. And then I've seen pretty much all the top guys. Vinny's seen more top guys than me. Even he might go back to who would you go back to, Vin? Ray DeBoer.
There's a lot of good face-off guys, but not the techniques way. Look, these guys. You're a tactician. You're an expert, and you've done it for such a long time. It's amazing what you've been able to accomplish and the success you've had. Not only personal success, it's led to so many victories. I mean, you've been a winner. I got to ask you one question. I see you went to that Mo Bad, right?
Yeah.
Down in Jersey. And I was looking at some info there. I said they won the championship. They were 8-0. What that kind of league was that? You only played 8 games?
Yeah. I think that was maybe like our conference. like the games in conference. And
Okay.
we definitely weren't the highest conference in New Jersey. We definitely did play all the top schools. We actually did. I think that year we played Del Bar, another powerhouse in New
Yeah,
Jersey,
they're always
and
good.
we lost a tough game. But they were outside of our conference, so I don't think they put that stat up there.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think they put the
yes.
stat up.
So, and of course, your story has been out there a little bit, but we'll repeat it for the people who listen to the podcast and watch the podcast. In that, you are had great success at that school in high school and won a championship your last year. Actually, I think you scored over 100 points or something in your career. So you were a scorer on time. You weren't a fogo. You were actually a scorer in high school.
Yeah, no, I was definitely doing. I'm so appreciative that I had the opportunity to play first line midfield. So it was fun, like taking the face off, staying on. We had a great team. We had guys to go on and play at a bunch of Division 1 schools. So we had a great team, especially my junior year and senior year. But but yeah, I was able to put the ball in the net a few times for sure.
You still do it in. I'm checking you out. I see you got three 2 pointers in your career with the PLL. So you hit a
Yeah.
few outside shots too. So what, what I wanted to ask, so now you're ready to go to Franklin and Marshall, right? Or you were
Hmm.
thinking about going there, and then you're a late recruit, late commit to Denver. But I want to tell you who takes credit for it. My nephew Jake. You know my
Yeah.
nephew Jake Ficaro, right?
Yeah.
So Jake tells me the story. He met you up at Placid, and you weren't
Yup.
on a team. Is
Yup.
that
No,
true?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So that was going into my freshman year of college, and I went up and played Placid. I started out playing U19, so I was playing for a Jersey club called Patriot Lacrosse. And it's just like a bunch of Jersey guys. We played the U19 tournament, and then I ended up staying and playing. I was saying, okay, I'm gonna play. I played in the men's B division.
Hmm.
And I was like, this would be good. Like, spend the week, get some extra reps against some older guys. And I remember Jake, so he was playing for Sector Spiders, like
Right.
probably the best team there, right? And their faceoff guy got hurt, so they started scouting, other divisions, other games to say, okay, we need a faceoff guy because we're trying to win the whole tournament. So they saw me play, and they said, hey, you want to come and play for the Spiders? And I said, yeah, I was pretty. No, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh my, like I don't know if I got that in my bag. Like I don't know. Like I came for U19, I came for Men's B. Like these are the big dogs now. He was like, oh, you should come play, and we ended up having a great tournament. But I think that whole experience, like with Jake, Joe Walters came down and played on that team as well, and just so many great players. Like that gave me so much confidence, just to be invited by that group to say like, hey, you could play at this level, and then to actually play at a high level and go far in the tournament and have success. I think without that, I think going into Denver that freshman year, I would have had a completely different mindset, and I wouldn't have really had the runway to succeed. So it was actually a really, really highlight of my career for sure, playing in Placid.
Yeah. So I mean, kids hearing that kind of story, again, I don't want to say you were a late bloomer. You just didn't have the opportunity. You already had the talent, and you were probably one of the top guys. Just nobody really saw you yet.
Right,
Kind of cut your teeth up at Placid. And like I tell kids all the time, I mean, there's so many good players today. The difference between, being really top and it's about confidence. You got to have
right.
confidence, and I think when you go play in those kind of tournaments as you get older and you're playing with these older guys and they're telling you, listen, you got the stuff, it goes a long way in helping you when you get into college and start playing.
Absolutely.
So, Vinny, how many world teams have you been on?
I was on four. And I'm lucky enough to have four gold medals. I
Let's
was
go.
I hit a good streak there when I was on the team. I was telling Smalls last night. We really, we didn't have many tough games. Probably the toughest game I played in the World Games was when we beat Team Canada in 1915. We opened a pretty good lead. They came back. We opened a lead. They came back, but they never got within four of us. But that's probably the closest score I had, especially in the finals. You guys have had
Trevor,
some real friggin' nail biters, I got to tell you.
My God, yeah, like down to literally the milliseconds, which has been
Yeah,
amazing, amazing.
yeah,
Luckily we in the past two we came out on top, and it's such a great experience playing for Team USA. I mean, it's just the bond that you build. The players that you're playing against in the summer that are bringing so much talent and skill to the game, and being able to strap it up and play for
Have
the
you held the
country.
flag, Trevor? Did you run with the American flag?
I did.
That's it.
I got to lead the team out in 23,
Man, I got
which
to
was
see
awesome.
that.
Yeah, and, in San Diego this past World Games, it was awesome. It was awesome.
so
yeah.
Vinny, how much did you get paid your first year in the indoor league?
I think we paid to play.
I said my first year indoor was 1992, and my check was $125 a game. And when they took the tax out, my bar bill after the game was more than I had to sign the check over
Yeah,
and give money to the bartender. That's how
yeah.
much. That's pretty much how that went.
Listen, I can't be. I'm so happy that you guys have these opportunities and how the game progressed. But I'm old enough, and Pete is old enough. We remember those days. We were. I played for a great club team, Long Island. That was like the pro league back then, and we actually had to pay for our own uniforms. We didn't have sponsors or anything like that. Towards the end of club, right before the MLL started, there was some teams, maybe Toyota. They got a sponsorship, Team Toyota, and there were some teams that got some sponsorship, but we never really did. We kind of just funded it ourselves. But that's why I was excited, in '01 when the MLL started, and it's progressed into this PLL, which has taken it to the next level. From the MLL was phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. I thought the rules, the whole thing. But Paul Rabel is he's an innovator. I say he took it to the next level. He's always tinkering to make it better for the fans, better for the players, and it's growing. Of course, it's not easy because everything costs money and flying guys out and how it's set up. But I think we're on the right path. Got to just hang tough. It's I'm more concerned. When I talk about USA lacrosse, where everything stems from financially. Go back to when the first time I was on a world team. They had to fund one world team, and they really didn't. 82, they did. They got sponsors and all. Before that, guys paid, were on that USA team. So now you're carrying women's, and then you got U19, and then you got box, and you got sixes, and you got this. So they really need to, generate a lot of revenue to do the right thing for
They
all
need
these.
money. They need money bad. Even USA. It's no joke anymore. All
Yeah,
these
no, that's
teams,
what
man.
I'm
Go
saying.
ahead.
You're funding six teams. It's,
Crazy.
but I want to get back to Trek because I really am interested in his career because he has, you have clearly one of the most decorated careers in the sport. There's no doubt about it. Being a four-time first team All American, you're one of, I think we were trying to remember the names, but I think you're one of five or something like that have been able to do that. Especially that freshman year, obviously, is the toughest year, I think. But you were a four-time, and not only as you were becoming first team All American, you were setting records. You set the record at your school the first year you were in there. So you really hit the ground running and never stopped. On top of it, you got a national championship under your belt. So, it's
Yeah,
not like, you got one of those. Then you come
yeah.
out, you get a world championship, twice with the USA teams. I don't know if you've won in the pro league yet. Have you been on a team that's won it in the pro league?
No, not yet, not yet. But hoping, but that's coming soon this summer. This summer,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
it
the
looked
goal.
like you were the odds on last year. You guys were having a great year last year. Looked like you were going to be the guys, but you're going to need one of those, Trev, to complete the resume. That's for sure.
Well,
Need it,
you know, you
need it.
know, it's funny when we were talking about getting together with you at the time a few weeks ago when I first was talking to Peter. Not to say that you guys were struggling the Atlas, but I definitely got a sense of somewhat underachieving going on. And I'm saying to myself, damn, look at that attack, and
Yeah.
look at some of these middies, and look at that and the goalie. You got the Enterman in there, and they got you. I'm like, what's missing? What's not happening? But whatever was not happening, you clearly have started to tinker and figure it out, because now you're starting to find that groove. And when you really need to do it, you need to find that groove middle end of the season as you get into it. What do you think that was for your team?
I think it's just continuity, really. I think that I've been fortunate to be on the Atlas since the start of the league. I actually think I'm the only current player on our team right now that's been an Atlas player since day one. And it kind of, since we came out the gates, we had a stacked team. Our team
Yeah.
was always really great on paper. And, I think that kind of at the start, it was more we just we didn't play well together, and then we got a different coaching staff in year two, and then we got a different coaching staff in year four. So, guys, every coach kind of wants to make the team their own, so they're changing the rosters up a little bit, and that's natural with different coaches. So we've had a lot of turnover on our team. We've had a lot of different guys come in, and it always takes a little time to adjust. So I think that this year was kind of really I felt like last year we had a great team, and then returning like the big bulk of players for a couple years now, I think really set the scene for us to really peak, and to our culture's on point, but we're just guys have more chemistry. I think it really came down to chemistry. I think that's what's really I think that's what we're falling back on right now for sure.
Well, with such a young team, like, when we were playing, my time, a lot of it was when club lacrosse was the highest level. And then I was at the tail end. I got to play 4 years in the MLL at that, at the high level, which club was obviously before. And I always say, for all the success with Long Island Lacrosse Club of winning as many championships as we won, and then 2 out of the 4 years I was in the MLL, we won with the Lizards. But a lot of that had to do with, believe it or not, the guy here, Vinny. Even if even if he wasn't physical, because he was 40 something years old in the MLL still. And it didn't matter that his skills, his physical skills, maybe he wasn't as fast. It was the confidence he brought to the field. Vinny's best skill was he made everybody else believe they were better than what they were, and he could elevate everyone else's games just by the guys having confidence that he's on the field with them. And that's sometimes, if you confine those guys in maybe some kind of older elder statements, maybe that's you. Maybe you're that
Yeah.
guy now, since you're starting to get a little older on a young team, and maybe the team looks and they said, man, we got to pick up our game, because Trevor's a leader on his team, and he's ass whipping everybody, so we got to raise
What do you
we
mean a
got to
little
raise
older?
up.
How old are you, Trevor, for the fans?
I'm 29. I'm 29
Oh,
now.
God, he's 29. He's a kid. He could go to Vinny's another 40.
He's like a baby in Vinny years. He's like a
He's
baby
got
in
7
Vinny
to
years.
8. He's got 7 to 8. Well, he's a kid now. He's got 7 to
Wait a
8.
minute. Wait a minute. Smalls, I got to ask Trevor, this is for you because this is what you're big
Well, you
on.
didn't introduce me the right
No.
way.
Well, Mr. Chaminade, is that what do you mean? What I wanted
BC, a.k.a. Mr. Chaminade.
to let you know
Go ahead,
about
go ahead.
Trevor, because you're a big water guy. Trevor was an elite swimmer in high school.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to
Swimmer.
Trevor,
swim
you're
in
a
high school.
surfer. I'm supposed to get Vinny on a surfboard. He told me he's a great athlete. I kill him all the time. I said, Vinny, he goes, I won't get on a surfboard. He won't. I said, he'd be great on a surfboard. He's an athlete.
So when
Yeah,
I
I
say
think
to guys, when I'm watching a game and you're playing, and I go, this guy was a good swimmer, and they go, that guy, he looks like
yeah.
he's a tank. You don't exactly have to build a swimmer's body. You know what I
No.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
no.
we left, and I said, maybe that's why, knock wood, you've been very healthy through your career in a position
He
that
brought it
you
up.
take a hell of a lot of knots because you take so many draws and you're constantly getting hit. And the fact that you've been so durable and you played indoor too. So, that's really a testament. Do you have a real strong training regimen that you follow?
Yeah, I do. I have a great team out here in Denver. To my trainer Patrick Nolan and then my PT Nate Lilly. I'm seeing them 365 almost every day. Usually, definitely every weekday, and then usually Sundays not so much. I think just for like maintenance, it's been huge for me. I think that like I said, like 29, like definitely young in by a good amount of standards. When I first started, like I think my first year coming out of college, you could just pick up the stick and go. Like you don't, you're getting hit, you're bouncing up, you're
Right.
kind of, you got that stamina. You bounce back, maybe you tweak something. A couple days later, you get a couple waters, you lay down for a little bit, you're fine. And I think I really learned after like couple years, like, hey, like you got to really start taking care of stuff. So I feel like I spend a lot of time doing maintenance work, just little bumps and bruises, just getting ahead of all that stuff. And like I said, I got a great team, great people around me that help out with that too.
I'll tell you this, Vinny.
So let me go
Steven
back a
can
little
knock you
bit.
all
So
you
now
want
you,
about you being too old. Like, can you hear me?
Yeah.
He's
Vinny,
talking. Shaper's talking.
I always get
Wait, hold
beat
Here.
up about
Go
that.
I'll
ahead.
tell you this. Steven might bust your balls about you being too old because he didn't have to cover you like I did. All right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, they can say whatever they want. This He had every trick in the trade. He was fast, downhill dodger. He's like Jack Hanna before Jack Hanna. So don't let Steven bust your balls too much
Well,
until
thank
he
you
until
for
he
that.
picks up his stick and tries to cover you.
Well, I wanted to ask Trevor. So now he gets recruited and he ends up in Denver, and it reminds me of thinking about your path to Denver. I think about in the great movie The Express about Ernie Davis when he went to Syracuse. He's a freshman, and he's going through practice, and the coach is all over him, and the other player on the team, the offensive tackle, turns to him. He says, "I guess you're wondering where that nice guy who recruited went to right now." Did you get a little sticker shock from Bill Tierney when you got on the field? And because Bill could be rough.
For sure, for sure. And I think Coach T just demands the best out of everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, I was more just like I was in class. Like I felt like, had a great high school career. I feel like a lot of my play was revolved around athleticism. So when they started talking about, different skill work things, like I felt like I was just trying to catch up. I was trying to catch up and not kill the drill. Can't kill the drill. So just gotta get by. But I think that like I never really looked too much into it because I didn't really take it personally. It's like he wants the best out of everybody. I know that if you're the first guy on the roster or if you're the last guy on the roster, like you're gonna get some heat. You got to listen to what he's saying, not how he's saying it. That's what he would
Right.
always
That's
say.
right.
Listen to what he's saying, not how he's saying it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, so you, like I said, you jumped right in as a freshman and broke records at the school and maybe even nationally. I don't remember, but I read something about that. But to have that kind of success, hit the ground running, and at that same time, obviously Denver was having a lot of success. You guys were right in the hunt year after year. And you did break through and get that championship. It's not easy winning championships. You know it. You know what it is. You've
Yeah.
been on enough teams to know that it takes a little luck. You got to be, hopefully you get a little injury free and all of those kinds of things. But yeah, I mean, it's the face off. I was playing in the late '70s, and in 1978 in the national championship, it was one of the Rattlebars, I think, dominated the face-off game. And so the coaches that year got together. They didn't like that because he dominated the face-offs and they won the game pretty easily.
Yeah.
They were like, we got to change it. So in '79, they actually did do. I don't know if you knew this. They did an alternate possession in 1979. You
I did.
score, yeah,
Yeah.
and they took it out. You didn't have to clear it. They gave it to you at the midline, and it only lasted 1 year. There was strategy around that. Do you double team the ball at the midline? What do you do?
That leaves this question for Trevor. Like, obviously, you've had the great success. Does it frustrate you when they are constantly tinkering around with things around it, in terms of changing the rules constantly? Oh, you can't do this. You can't put your foot on the ground. You can't have your stick this way. And what would you say if, in terms of addressing maybe all of those rules, people's concerns in terms of what would be fair in terms of that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think that the face-off position is, I think it's so polarizing, and I would say I'm 100% sure of why. I think, talking back to when they took it out of the game, I think, talking to guys who experienced that firsthand, they said that it wasn't great, and I think that the face-off brings this level of toughness and excitement to the game, and kind of, to me, like, I look at it is, out here on the field, like, you got to earn everything, like, you don't just score and then you get the ball just cuz, like, you got to go out and fight for it, which I think is just so cool. I think that's, why I really love the position, and why I really love the game. I think back to the point of, like, its polarizing nature. I don't know if it's because everybody's just watching it at one point, everybody, and there's only three guys running in. It's just got a hyper focus on it. But you don't score a goal when you win a faceoff. You got the opportunity. You still got to get the ball and put it in the net, and you got a team that's stopping you from doing that, right? I do believe that, like, you know back, say, 2015 for us, like, that was pre-shot clock era in college. Like, when you could hold the ball and really take the air out of the ball, I get it. I get it, especially with the upgrade of stick technology. Like, it's a little harder to get the ball out of guys' sticks and things like that.
Right.
But I think you add the shot clock. Like, I don't really understand why it's such a big point. It's like, if you lose the face-off, then you got to get a stop. You got to get a stop. You win the face-off, you got to put it in the net. So, I think that it's always pointed at is, okay, well, that's the reason, like, this is getting a little bit out of hand because this person won so many faceoffs. And that's why I think they continue to change the rules. And I think it's tough, but I think, that's my, like, macro opinion on it. But, looking at me personally, I do think I try to spit it positive. Like, it just gives you opportunity to learn different skills. It gives you
The only way
opportunity.
to look at it. That's the only way to look
Yeah.
at it. You have to, if
It is
you can't resist
polarizing.
it if it's coming. So you might as well make the
Right.
best of it and adapt, right?
Polarizing in the sense that it's great when you're winning them all the time, and then it's the other side of it. They hate it when they're losing. But I want to ask you this, because this is my mindset of maybe whether it needs fixing or whatever. You probably are aware of your percentages. What's like your percentage this season in the
He's
PL?
70%. I could tell you. I'll tell you for him. He's
I think I'm actually sitting around 60 right now. I think I'm sitting around 60
Okay,
right
I
but
now.
that's
think
But
monster. That's a monster number as it is. Now, the other question I was had is, what were you in indoor?
oh, that I don't know.
Would you say it
I
was
would
less?
guess higher. I
You
would
think
guess higher.
higher?
This season, I actually was hurt for a lot of the season. I fractured my leg, so I missed a good amount of it. I guess I would probably say around 60. I can't say for
Yeah.
sure. I can't say
Well,
for
because I
sure.
would
I'd
say,
probably say
because
60.
the thought was like, in terms of, look, the PLL does this thing. Look, I love that they try and tinker around with stuff, but the idea that you only get a 32-second shot clock if you win, to me, is like penalizing the guy who wins. To me, that seems strange to me. It's like you win and your team could be at a disadvantage, especially if the team plays it smart, maybe makes you go back, waste more time. It actually ends up, that's why you saw, to some extent, guys not even dressing a face-off guy,
Right.
you know,
Right.
which
It
that's
got, yeah.
certainly not an answer, you know.
Right. Right.
We always felt an answer would be this. I always felt like, let the guys go in. Everybody can go in at any time, almost like a girl's face-off. as a great faceoff guy, maybe you pop it out. Maybe you pop it out too far. Maybe it makes you have to make a decision faster than you normally would. I know they did it with the wings coming in. That's good too. But what are your thoughts on that? You think it would be concerned with injury or?
Yeah, I think as long as guys can't take like a straight line, like a straight 20-yard line at somebody going for a ground ball, I think that the outside of that, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that the 32-second shot clock, I think kind of to your point, I think very innovative, but I think that they're gonna take some data and I think hopefully it's something that continues to evolve over time because I do think that it's making it less about that narrative that I talked about earlier, where it's like you got to earn the right to get the ball. It's like I don't want the game to ever turn into something where it's like, oh well, let's concede, right? Like I don't want lacrosse to turn into a conceding game.
Right. I agree.
It's like let's go out and go get it. But I do think to your point, like there are some great rules that have come about, right? Like I remember back, I would say probably it's like 2012 ish. Like you could carry the ball in the back of your stick, like you could clamp it, carry it in the back of your stick. Now you got to pop it out, pick up the ground ball, so making it so other teams kind of have a shot. If you can't beat somebody on a whistle, like you could still have a chance to get the ball.
Right.
And I think that's great because I think that promotes more athleticism, right?
I got
And
some
less.
questions. I'm sorry to jump in here from the
Go ahead,
fans.
Mr.
Can I?
Chaminade. Yeah.
Sorry
go
about
ahead.
that, guys. Mr. Shamlat here. One of the guys' name is Brandon Oppenheimer. He's a father of 3 guys on Long Island. They're face-off guys. They go to schools like Vinny. Where do they go? With Adelphi is one of
One
them.
goes to Albany. One goes to
One goes to Albany, and there's a young kid named Chase. He's trying to up and coming. So this is what they asked. The kid asked this. So here's his question. Who has been your toughest opponent so far that you've played against? Yes. Top 2. You don't have to give. I'm not making you think here, Trevor. You may not want to say it. You got to go on to your career. You got another 3, 4 world games to make. Maybe you don't want to say it and give him an edge. You might be giving the guy an edge. You might want to pass. Who say the name so the fan.
Greg the Renly, the Beast.
Holy cow. You became better than the teacher. Shame on you. I knew you weren't all that good, man. Come on. Give the teacher. And the other thing is, Trevor, when facing off to some of these guys, being an expert and having all this knowledge, but also becoming a teacher, I might screw this question up, but I'm trying to understand where I am. Could you give insight to a guy you're currently facing off where he could be better and beat you had he known what to do as he's playing you? Are you that good of a teacher? No, don't name him. I'm just asking in general. You could give somebody info now.
I'm going to give you your secret sauce.
No, I don't want to. I'm not asking. I'm
What
just
kind of
saying.
question is that?
It's a very. Sorry, Trevor. See what I mean?
Let me ask you, Trevor. What is there any rule in facing off that you would like to see in the facing off? Right. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be that would.
So
be
that would benefit you. You're talking about yourself. You would score more.
He's one of the better guys with the ball in his stick. He's good with the ball in his stick.
Well, speaking to that, how would you say indoors helped you with that? Because I always talk about indoor. See, I always say about any players, whether no matter what position they are, and how much I played 14 years in the NLL, and I always said it's probably one of the biggest things that helped my overall lacrosse game in terms of playing indoor, tight spaces, different shooting, and then bringing it outside and then complementing the field part of it. And I say every guy should be doing that. And as a faceoff guy, could you say whether or not that's helped you in even your defense? And
So you're looking to raise the bar. You're looking. How much can you go up if the scale is 10 and you're at a 7? Can you go to 10? How much of a bar
he's
can
at
you
10
raise?
now, if you ask me.
No, he's not. He's got years. He's got many years to go. He's looking to improve.
He's talking.
What a timing. Yeah. Hey, Trevor, if I say I beat you 3 in a row, right? I got you 3 in a row, right? And you're not happy. You're changing your mood a little bit. Are you a little bit like Michael Jordan? Were you in my ear? Will you talk a little trash at the line there? Or you're not that. I mean, you don't have to give yourself up, but I mean, you want to get the little. Oh, you're not. You don't say okay.
Yeah, hey, Smalls, you know what his you know what his move is though when he doesn't win one. When I've seen him
What's his
not
next
win
move?
some. No,
I think
Trevor's move. He goes for the stabbing move. I used to always see him with that butt end.
You
Right,
ice pick.
he's an ice
You
picker.
invented. You're pretty good with the ice pick. I gotta say. You could have
Hey
worked for the
Trevor,
mob. He could have worked for the mob. He's an ice picker.
if I trained with you for a year, could I? Would I be able to beat you on a couple of? If I learned from you?
No, I'll answer for him. No, I'll
No,
give you. I'll give
15,
you
10,
this. No,
15. Probably not. Yeah.
if he
Trevor's
jumps,
a nice guy.
maybe if
He
he
just give
jumps.
him mercy. He'd
The only
show him
way you
mercy.
beat him is if he jumps. If he violates at the whistle or something.
Well, that's part of it, though. I could be
that's
whistling.
true.
I could do something very odd, take him off his game, and be like, "Nah, but that's great, Trevor. You got a great thing going with Schaefer."
What would you advice you give? We have my son's got on his team that he plays high school kind of team, club team, icon, Pat McCabe, legendary Pat McCabe's program. He a kid, Jacob Sterno, they call him. Tough kid. And he battles, and even when the team plays much, much better teams, much stronger teams with a tough guy, he still battles, But he's trying to figure where he is in the world of this thing. He takes it very serious. What advice would you give him in things that he should really work on in terms of to try to advance himself maybe higher than he's at, maybe to the next level? Go. There you go. That's a great advice.
Trevor, do
You
you
got a
ever
good diet?
do you ever do an analytic that how many you win to yourself, how many you pull back, or draw back to a guy, how many you push forward, what your like percentages look like when you do it differently? Right. That
Well,
makes sense.
Vinny used to get mad at you, Trevor. I'm going to be honest. When the boys were at Nova, I can remember calling Vinny one day. It was a close Nova game. It was like Denver wins by 1, and I go, "What happened in that game out there? They were out of Denver." Vinny goes, "Well, they were, Baptiste was killing them, but it's okay. They're killing them. Okay, that's fine. It's still a close game. But then they let him go and score. Why? If he just conceded, if they just conceded, it'd be fine. The guy had 2 goals and an assist, and we lose by 1. It would make him nuts. It would make Vinny crazy.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember the
I
slogan.
was there.
My younger nephew Joey faced off against you. He actually got a couple. We were saying Joey did better than anybody. Yeah, they were great in high school.
Well, when in doubt for them, they were just going to scrap for it. If they couldn't get it, then because Jake and Joey, I think they had a very high percentage in high school. They probably were over 80% or over 75% for sure. But they're playing too, so it ends up being like when they get to college, if you're not really doing it all the time, it's hard to go against guys that are doing it all the time.
Especially against Trevor.
Yeah, against Trevor, forget it. That's when you concede. You let them go backwards.
Trevor, your favorite college team? Dennis Goldstein. Yeah. Dennis Goldstein came on here. He's a big lacrosse player. Who was your favorite college team growing up? Who did you always wish to play for? Oh, you wanted Hopkins.
You like Hopkins. And he could face off pretty good.
Yeah.
He might be the best athlete in the game to ever play, athletic wise. Now he can play hoops. He can play this, right? No, and Vincenzo always pauses. I got to look at my friend Vincenzo. Am I right, Vinny? I know. I got.
What are you asking me? I'm not sure what you're asking me. I got a question for you, Trevor. What are your? I won't limit it to one. What are your 3 greatest moments playing the sport? Yeah, that's got to be up there.
2025 PLL championship. 2025 PLL championship. I'm just putting it out there now. I'm just putting it out there now for you.
Well, listen, I gotta think, you come in, you're not really recruited until, Denver comes after you late in the game, and you go into college, and to be named first team All-American, in your freshman year, that's pretty special. I gotta think that had to be like I could really do this moment, and that had to be pretty special. And I know for me, I mean, look, you were definitely a front runner to be on a USA team, but I know for me, the first time I made a USA team, that was a special moment for me. So I'm sure that was, had to be a special moment for you. Uh, but yeah, you got a lot to go still. That's the thing. You got to get that. You got to get that PLL
Trevor,
championship
you
on
won
your
in
belt.
college or
I'm not
no?
letting up on you on that. He won in college, yes.
We gotta let him. We gotta let him get out there and get shooting. One of the last things we do is give our shout outs. You want to give a shout out, Vin?
Well, let Smalls go first. He
All
looks
right.
like
I
he's
don't
ready
even
for
know
his
who I'm
shout
going
out.
to give a shout out to. Well, I guess today I give a shout out to a friend of mine who grew up without a father, came a long way. You might know this guy. He's quite an interesting character. You know a guy named Jeff Goldberg, Mother Whack?
We do. I don't know if Trevor does.
Well, he was an undersized guy, and nobody kind of wanted him. And they were starting to Vinny can get on it more. They were starting the pro league, and there was nobody around. Vinny was busy on other teams, and they were first going to travel for USA back in the heyday. So Vinny was picking guys. He was getting different, and he called up this little guy, Jeff Goldberg. Vinny, I'll go down. I'll go anywhere. I'll travel. And he got on the team, and the kid made something of himself. So I give Vinny a lot of credit for this little kid. He was very, very small. So I give a lot of credit, stuff like that, for the smaller player to be able to play such a game and get a little notoriety. So my thing also goes out to Vinny and Jeff Goldberg for all the small people out there to give them encouragement and help, something like that.
And I'll give my shout out. I'll give my shout out to face-off guys that I've had in the past that led to successful championship teams. Joe Cowboy, Joe Corello, who was part of many of those Long Island Lacrosse Club victories, and Eric Whedon from Hopkins, who was the face-off man for those two Lizards championship teams. So those are my shout outs to my face-off guys.
Vincenzo, you get a couple too there.
Well, you
So
put me
think
on
when
the
you're going to
spot.
pick.
I wasn't ready for my shout out today. I got to think about that for a second. I don't know the kid's name, but unfortunately, a kid passed away recently on Long Island. He was a lacrosse player, I think a high school age, that I just saw something pop up on my feed. I apologize. I don't know the name. I wish I did. But, that had to be, I give a shout out. I wish his family all the best, because that's a heartbreaker, beyond lacrosse and everything else. But the one nice thing is that he was part of the lacrosse community, the kid, and he's getting, his family's getting a lot of love in this time of need. So my shout out is to that family. I hope, everybody supporting them can ease their pain a little bit, but God rest that kid's soul.
Any shout outs, Trevor? Yeah.
Big B, Big B. There you go. Jake will love that one. Yeah, he'll love that. Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Nice. Very nice.
Well, well, best of luck this year, Trevor. Look forward to seeing the Atlas go deep in the playoffs, and we're going to be back live from Tillman's Kitchen up in Lake
Yes.
Placid next week.
Next
That's
week.
when we'll be
There
on
you
next.
go.
Trevor, hold
There
on.
you
I got
go.
something for Trevor and Schaefer. Hold on one more minute. Trevor and Schaefer, I admire both your relationships. I see the way you talk to each other. That's very grateful, man. Very, very nice to each other. It's nice to see, man. Really is. Congratulations, guys.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
We'll see you in class. Thank you.